I saw your ad. I clicked on it. I have my percentage there. I landed on one of your landing pages, Amazon website or your blog. For argument's sake, let's say it's our Shopify page. What's the next measurement or what's the next step?
Anybody that tells you that you could pay them money and gain you an organic following that is consistent and is an actual following is trying to highway robbery you. That is the thing, is that we are playing by
shortcuts, algorithm
gods, and you can do everything absolutely perfectly and never see a single damn view in your life. You can network and you can ask and you can reach around and you might get a handful of views, but you will never get the organic following of someone that has done it by themselves, that has grinded, that has gone through that process and has developed those skills, no matter what. And I will firmly stand by that as a creative that has owned an agency.
Well, and look, I'll second that, right? Because I've lived through, prior to meeting you, the Panda and Penguin and all these like changes that Google made. Look at Google's not trying to make it harder for anybody to actively search and find what they're looking for. In fact, that's the whole motto of their company. What they are trying to do is not get killed. Like, who was the ones before Google, right? Like, I remember Dogpile, which was like this aggregate that showed before Google, and then before that it was, where did we search? Like, AOL. We got flooded with crap that I didn't want to see, and I couldn't find what I was looking for. Google's whole job is to help you find what you're looking for in one click. Right? And so the algorithms are not evil. They are your friends. And so here's what everybody's always trying to do. They're always trying, because Gen X and boomers are always trying to shortcut the system. Okay. Millennials were the first ones that I think said, hey, let's just play by the rules and we'll get ahead further. Right. And I think Gen Z, you guys are taking that to the next level. I really do. And so the algorithms are your friend, and I will tell you why, and then you can tell me if I'm wrong or right. The algorithms are your friend because I think once you give the algorithm the check boxes or however it works to say, okay, this isn't bullshit. Someone searched for this, they saw it on the website, they clicked through, and they bought it, right? Then that means, okay, that's a good keyword search. Now, more people that are looking for that, let's keep showing them that until we, until we find out that position that, especially on Amazon today, I think that is 100% where it changed from, I'd say a year and a half ago. Amazon really was not that good at finding, helping me find what I look for in the first two keyword searches. I think they've gotten a lot better in the last year and a half, or COVID. I think they were forced to. But you have to get the algorithms to trust. You can't skirt them. Once you get that, I think once you get that part where, and you taught me this, like once the algorithms see what you're doing and figure it out, then you just get better placement.
I mean, that's the reality of an algorithm, is if you try to fight the algorithm, you're going to do worse in the algorithm. And no matter what you are posting on, if it is Facebook, if it is Google, if it is YouTube, if it is anything, even your Gmail uses a certain algorithm to a certain extent. If you fight the algorithm is not going to work with you. If you go with the algorithm, you are bringing money to that company, and the money wants you to do well in their algorithm. So they are going to help you.
Exactly. The only way that you spend more money in advertising on Facebook and Instagram or on any platform, even on Amazon, they get it. If you're not making money, you're not spending money. If you're making money, they'll help you find ways to spend money. In fact, Amazon will turn around. If you get to that point where you're spending money and there's enough credit that they can help you finance more, they will. That's the amazing thing. So you don't have to go and max out credit cards every month to reach your spend. So the data helps them help out the people.
I think Amazon came out with that Amazon store card where basically anybody can just get 6, 12, or like 18-month financing. And I think that's like one of their best business promotions that they've ever done, because everybody's just like financing. Cool.
I'm looking at it as a Seller Central client, right? Like 52 Capital. When Lavalunch, they got to the point where they said, hey, the math is working here, that why don't we just, you don't have, you still keep your credit card on file, but like we don't have to worry about paying. They just deduct it out of the revenue that we generate every month. Which means I really don't have a budget anymore that I have to worry about on advertising spend. As long as the math is there and the inventory is there, we can scale up pretty quickly. That's a huge benefit for startups and entrepreneurs.
Yep.
Okay, so let's continue the funnel. So I saw your ad. I clicked on it. I have my percentage there. I landed on one of your landing pages, Amazon website or your blog. For argument's sake, let's say it's our Shopify page. What's the next measurement or what's the next step?
So when someone lands on your page, basically you can gather a lot of metrics. Ultimately, the metric that I would say most people are looking at are two things. One, did they click around on your website? There's not a proper name for this, but often, we can track the buttons people click because we put certain tags and that gets reported. So if you clicked on the About page, we know that you clicked on the About page. So that's one of them. And then the other one that we really look at is how long are you spending on that website? If you're getting on that website and you are only spending 5-10 seconds, then we know our ad was probably not the best to sell you. We know that it was somehow misleading because you got there and you were shocked and you immediately stepped away.
You didn't find what you're looking for.
Yeah. So, but if your session time is upwards of 20 seconds to a minute, then we know this is the place that you really wanted to come and now you're actively considering it. So this is kind of a touch point of, okay, they did that. They have really considered this now. Did they click checkout or not here? If they started the checkout process, then we know that the initial price wasn't that shocking. And then if they went into that checkout process and then we can track each page so they get to shipping, maybe they backed out at shipping. So then we look at it, okay, our shipping costs money right now. Let's make that shipping free.
All right, let me just translate again. So once you get on, we figure out what I called it the sandbox. So you land on the website, I go play in the sandbox, I go click around. I'm just going to clarify this 100%. The minute someone clicks through on an ad, the website's only purpose is to convert them to a sale.
Yep.
Okay. So everything that you're putting on there, and this is where I have a huge struggle with my generation, they still believe that this is a brochure.
Yeah.
And it needs to reflect me and my culture and my this and my that.
I'm just going to go on a tangent here.
Please.
No one cares about your face on your website.
Right.
I hate to be that person, but a website is there to sell the product. And I know as cool as it is to have your face next to something you've created and such, no one wants to see your face. No one wants to have you be the model for all the shots. They don't care who the model is. They ultimately see a good photo. They see a good model. And then they're like, oh, this is a good product. They don't want to know about your story. They don't want to know about how you grinded since you were 12 to get this position. They just want to see the product. Is that product what they are looking for? Okay, they're going to check out. Now, those things can translate to sales with certain individuals. However, that is not the majority of consumers on the internet.
So if you're a large influencer and you've got organic followers,
exactly,
then it matters.
Yep.
Right. If you're a well-renowned product designer that has a Wikipedia page about them, I would say maybe that's an important detail.
But if you are simply a product page with a brand new product that is just trying to sell that product,
right,
remove yourself from that page because there are better things that can be taking up the space your face takes up and your story takes up.
I think it's distracting, not in a negative way. And I don't look at. I think there's a proud moment here that most people miss. Right.
Yep.
It's your baby's grown up.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The product has to stand itself. So I'm going to say this is like it would be like you getting on stage when your kid has graduated their master's degree.
Yep.
You wouldn't do that. Right. It is no longer about you, inventors, entrepreneurs. It is now about watching your child flourish in the world without your support.
Yep.
You're in the background. You are always going to be there to make sure things get done right. But I'll equate it to the Gen Xers and Boomers to say this is the let go period where you really have to understand that your website, if the product needs to speak for itself before it gets branded, right? And this is I have this like argument with because Gen Xers are so into the brand. And Boomers are into brands, it's the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
The reality is it takes $10 million in 10 years to build a brand. That's the number that Steve Jobs throws around. So how accurate that is, it doesn't matter. The reality is when your product solves a unique, if it's a solution to a problem, That's got to be the thing that stands alone. That is the individual. That is the identity. That is what needs to be promoted, not the rest. The rest is distracting, and it's just
educate on the problem, educate on your product. Do not educate on yourself.
And take it even one step further. Make sure it understands how, you're no longer speaking about how I invented this. You're now speaking to the product, is speaking to the person who's looking at buying it, saying, this is how I can help you.
Exactly.
That is the voice that needs to happen. And it's just, look, it's a little struggle. And I will tell you, it's something we get through, but it is a little bit painful sometimes with some of our clients. And I'm not pointing anybody out, but this is just, and I get it. This is such an emotional experience, and it takes a lot, but this is where, again, I am saying this as one of my customers. I'm in that Gen X. I swallowed that pill 10 years ago when I realized the millennials had a much different way and a different process. And I realized that I'm going against the grain. So I adapted and I trusted and I learned, right? I am now recognizing also this online where Gen Z is taking over is they have perfected this funnel. And this is where, again, just having you and having this conversation was exciting to me, because I think this should be this hopefully will be our go-to podcast with all of our clients, at least, and hopefully that everybody else finds this of value, because at the end of the day, the result you want. The result we want is sales.
Yes.
The work in between the click, the advertisement, and the click through and the checkout and the sale, there's a lot of results that have to happen because it's a numbers game. And
there are results that have to be monitored, edited, constantly optimized, and bettered. It's not as simple as, your session time will improve over time.
So you don't just set it and forget it?
No. Never. The number of times I've heard that across my job, you can't just leave it alone.
Yeah. No, you can't. And look, this is where, I'll equate it to day trading. The reason why my generation doesn't do day trading is because that means you have to day trade. You sit in front of the computer and you watch, and you're going to make mistakes, but it's about recovering from those mistakes. And we don't have the emotional fortitude to do that. We're raw, we're passionate, we want to get shit done, and let's move on. Okay, so the checkout to the sale. What, where are we in numbers from someone visiting my website to maybe a checkout? What do you think that percentage should be?
So let's say your click-through rate is 1 to 10%. Generally, what you're going to be looking at in terms of conversions, what people would say is good conversions, is of that click-through, 1 to 10% of that.
Okay.
So what you are ultimately looking at is that 1% to a 0.1% of your total impressions being conversions is a good number.
So this is where the funnel, and it's no different than what, when my generation bought TV, radio, and newspaper, or whatever we bought, magazine. The magazines or the radio stations would tell you, here's how many listeners we have every day, right? So there's your impression list. So in drive time from 6 to 9 a.m., let's say the top radio station has 250,000 active listeners. That means if I run a radio spot in that one radio spot in that time, I'm paying roughly $350, $400, and that is the amount of impressions I will get, assuming that they have the 250,000 active listeners. Right. This is where I always kind of like, how do you know that? How do you prove that? Right. And so, they use Nielsen ratings, and when you realize that Nielsen ratings only have 500 boxes in any market, and some markets don't have any, the reality is it's a fucking guessing game. And it's somebody wrote up numbers so that the salesperson can go out and sell you marketing, and that's why they never got results, or or you're in the wrong. You're on the wrong radio show or the wrong station. It's not your demographic, right? Let's talk. That's the whole precursor to that. You got to make sure you're putting your spot in the right spot every time, because even with radio, I'm listening to these great songs. An ad comes on, it's interruptive. Right. So again, nothing has changed. It's just the platform and where we're interrupting people has changed. So that's where we're going. So I'm going to say that I need to figure out, like, if I have 10,000 impressions, I'm going to get 100 or 1,000 of those roughly to click to my website. And so, as you can see, it is a numbers game. We need to reach, what is it, 100,000, 500,000, a million? How many impressions do we need to put out there just to get the funnel to work so we can get the sale? You're
looking at easily tens of thousands. I I would say bare minimum a brand new product is probably looking upwards of 20,000 impressions before you even remotely can think of a sale, which is a huge number to most people. But you have to start somewhere. You're a brand new product. People are going to be shocked by seeing your product because that's just how any new consumer responds to a new product. They need to be educated about your product. Your product has to sit in the back of their mind for a bit of time. And then whenever you show them an ad again, they're way more likely to click through. And then that's when your funnel really, really starts.
Yeah, so I'll put this out there for some people because one of the things I look at, and not it doesn't happen often, but we've had a few clients who have brought in prototypes that they knew were kind of interesting because they put a video up and it got shared like 1,200 times.
Yep.
So if you're in that category, don't pass go, don't collect 200, come straight to C52 launch, because that means you possibly have something that people. Shares are really, to me, the biggest key point in social media. If someone's sharing your ad, and that's really hard. I'm not saying every product has that, but that means maybe you got a wow factor or something that someone resonates with. But that's a good problem to have. So the people listening to this podcast out there, that if you've got an idea or product that you threw out just this video concept on social media and it got a lot of shares, like in the thousands, I'd love to talk to you to figure out what you have, because you probably have an amazing product.
And I just want to touch upon shares because most people don't understand what a share really is on social media. And a share is nearly priceless. You have to think about it like this: is if you have a network of people, of colleagues, of work people, of friends, etc., you have this expansive spider web. If you had the opportunity to connect with every single person in Peter's network or my network and be shown to them, you would want that in a heartbeat. And that's what a share is you are taking a share and...
So this is why I was really excited about this podcast. I know I had the busiest scheduled day today that I've had in a long time. And I still, we're an hour late to doing this. And I was committed to doing this. And I'm drinking during this. So, but the simplest way that you can explain that to my generation, I have to look up. I'm pretty sure it was L'Oreal. It was a shampoo company that said, I told two friends and they told two friends and they told two friends, and so on and so on and so on. Yeah. That is online convert. That's the new Gen Z version of sharing. Right? Online is that commercial in their world. That's what it is today.
And you also have to think of it like this: is that it is now even bigger numbers than it was before. It was effective before.
Word of mouth was that was our viral in my generation.
Yeah.
This is word of social media sharing.
So this is the thing though, is now you could have started off back then telling, your close family member, like 10 people, and they kind of told 10 people and 10 people and 10 people. One share can get in front of tens of thousands of people alone. And then each one of those, thousands and thousands and thousands of people, it is actually huge. A lot of kind of social media analyzing tools actually value shares as one of the most important things, because you are just getting in front of more eyes than you would normally.
Oh, look at that! That power is huge, and so look at that can all happen in the minute. And this is what I tell people: if you want to build your brand, figure out online sales, how to sell 1 a day, 2 a day, 10 a day. It is not fast. It can be fast, but it's cautiously the way we do it. It shouldn't be fast, right? We want to make sure we're doing it right, because we could spend tens of thousands of dollars in a month or a week. That opportunity is out there.
Yep.
But the last thing you want to do is be wrong, right?
Yeah. So that is. Sorry, I just lost my thought. Continue.
No, I'll refresh your memory. Why is it wrong to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars a day on a campaign?
Yeah.
To start.
I'm not going to say it's wrong.
Right. I used the wrong word there.
And I'm going to say it's not as efficient as it should. That is the thing, is that if you spend $10,000 in a single day, let's say just a super high number, and you do not have a whole team of people monitoring minute to minute how that $10,000 is being used, you are going to lose a huge percentage of that money.
Right.
It's the same thing. Like we see these ad budgets of like, and we just know one of our clients spent like $1 million over the course of an hour. And I guarantee the people that were monitoring that were kind of monitoring that in a team of a couple tens of thousands, all at that one moment. And it's just minute to minute to minute. Oh, this ad of 230 something ads isn't doing well. We have to turn it off right away. And they just keep whittling it down. Oh, this is an outlier ad. It's getting some really good reviews. Okay, the budget is now reallocated to that ad. And that's the thing, is that sort of commitment and time, it is a numbers game. One person is not feasibly able to monitor all of that. So then you chalk it up to that is research money. But that research can be far more efficient if you can spread it out to a point that someone can manage it.
Well, let's talk about the reality. None of our clients are set up with trust funds that could spend $1 million in an hour, right? So, like if you're a new entrepreneur or a product developer or just getting, look at the hardest part is the first 6 months.
Yep.
I'd say in any business, right? Everyone thinks that, I just got this great product, I'm going to put a website up, all the funnels there. Look at, if no one knows what you have, who you are, Google is not going to be your friend. Google needs to see activity. They need to see that you're either organically driving traffic to your site and there's people coming to your site and those clicks are there and people are buying. They understand the activity. Then you'll get populated on Google. And again, that is a huge amount of work to be organic. And like I said, I do believe it works. I just think my generation doesn't understand how much they think, advertising online is free. It is not free. It is either a huge amount of effort or it is a consistent spend in growth model, and understand that you need teams of people to help you get there.
It is quite literally a slider with money on one side and time on the other.
Right.
And it's up to you where you want to slide that.
Exactly. So I'll tell you, my generation, we should not, we're first of all, we're all, gray-haired and older, unless you're like that super cool dad that does that Batman stuff. I mean, I even think he's a millennial. But look, you either have to be a super creative and have been doing it for, like you said, 4 to 5 years. And I guarantee you, every single entrepreneur, with the exception of maybe Gary Vee, that's been online for that long, had doubt at some point along the way. What the fuck am I putting this much effort into doing? Because I'm not seeing any results.
Yep.
Right. And so how many potential would-be amazing organic superstar influencers could be out there if they didn't quit?
Yeah.
Or have that moment of doubt. Right.
Let me just pivot it over to you with 52. How many times have you doubted the company?
Oh, man. Well, look I never doubted the company because I just knew I was flexible enough to pivot. Yeah. I expected when I was going to, look, I left a lucrative automotive career.
Let me rephrase this.
Yeah.
How many times were you scared for 52?
Shit. Look I'm scared every day. And then you talk to Dan, he scares the shit out of me even more. Like, why the fuck are we spending money on this? Yeah. Sorry, Dan. But look, and those are good questions to have because at the end of the day, the job of a business owner is to, we have to make sure that there's money to pay everything and get all these things. And that means revenue in. And that also means being considerate that I can't charge customers what I actually need to get all this done right. So I'm doing what I'm doing on a dime, hiring, convincing people like Evan who could certainly get jobs anywhere to drink our Kool-Aid a little bit and say, hey, look, we have a long-term plan here. This is something that we build organically from scratch. And we did. 52 launches an organic business. We had a business model based on identifying a need in a market that we saw emerging. Yep. And we found a way to provide a service that helped people enormously in these areas. And quite honestly, the name is 52 Launch. We thought we were going to get your product developed, give you some marketing assets, and they would go and do their own thing. Lo and behold, we've done such a good job for our clients that they want to stay on with us. And look I feel obligated. I want to see all our clients succeed. So as we keep expanding, I say we're an A through Z process, but from 5 years ago to what we are now is more like A to B.
Yeah.
And now we're at A to Z, and I guarantee you in another 2 years from now, we're going to look like this was A to B.
Yeah. And I would even go as far as saying like upwards of 95% of all clients go all the way from A to Z with us.
Yeah.
Like, it is a huge amount. There are very few people that pull out, and oftentimes it's because of personal issues or something like that they just don't have the time commitment or don't have the funds to put up.
I mean, everyone has gotten to the point where they've had their product delivered.
Exactly.
That's so the A through Z is now they just are going to market it themselves, and they're going to go and figure out like flea markets and we
have tons of entrepreneurs that have marketed in different ways, be it at flea markets or being at the beach, just going to local food festivals.
Don't half-ass anything. Don't half-ass anything.com. The Ass Plate Boys, love you guys. You're the entrepreneurial spirit. These are like Life is Good guys. They bought themselves a Winnebago. Actually, they got a Winnebago like a year ago as a shit box, and they upgraded, so they're doing phenomenal. And I will say that they are hustling, and they found a way to market a unique product, a lifestyle, and they are building their sales one organic follower at a time.
Yep.
And that's like you said, it is actually that sliding scale. It's either money or it's time. Gen Xers and boomers, we're stuck with kids, college, this and that. So the reality is we have some money to put towards marketing dollars. You can still build it, forego the organic side of it.
Yep.
Or if you're one of those cool hip Gen Xers that, you can afford that time to do that, then you still have that opportunity to go and be the coolest guy on TikTok or gal.
And I will just kind of add on there, don't be discouraged by all the youth. There's actually a lot of older people that are doing really well on these platforms that had no following prior.
Absolutely.
And like, that's the thing, is that like, if you're scared of the amount of younger people and the youth on these platforms, think how much more you're going to stand out. Like, if Peter suddenly started making TikTok dances and everything, everybody would be like, what the hell? What is he doing on here? And automatically he's going to stand out.
Well, just for the record, it's Apocalypse Pete on TikTok, and it's mostly about surviving COVID on how to make Bloody Marys and smoke meat.
Yep.
So that was my... and I just didn't have time for it. I have a full-time job, and I would have loved to have gone back, but I'm a Gen X with 3 kids, and I've got responsibilities, and I have a business to run, and I have a responsibility to my clients to help them get their businesses off the ground. So TikTok for me is just, I could do it, but I don't have the time to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's, I like that sliding scale. That's a really good one. So at checkout, what happens if I'm not getting my checkout? What's the number one reason why things don't go from checkout to sale completion?
Shipping.
What was that? Say it again. Didn't hear you.
Free shipping.
Free shipping.
If you're not doing free shipping, you are going to lose sales.
Is this even a consideration in today's world?
No.
No, it is. It shouldn't be. Again, I'm speaking to Gen X and boomers, because the holy fuck moment comes when they see the shipping, what it costs to ship.
I'm just going to be very blunt here. If you don't do free shipping, then there is no reason for someone to buy your product on your website instead of going to get a similar product on Amazon.
All right,
and they will search.
They will search. And so look at, take it like this. You complain about the cost of it, but you're the first, my generation's the first one to go free shipping, and we do the calculation, and I'll get the Prime because I know it's $3 more, but shit, I'm still paying more in shipping with the guy, the opportunity that didn't have Prime.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, I gotta wait fucking an extra 6 days with this guy, with this product that I'm not buying Prime. So we complain about the things we do every day. We are our own consumers. So just follow your own path. Ask yourself what you would do. I put this from the sales world, right? And especially with Google coming out. And if anybody hasn't seen the ZMOT video from Google, you should go look it up. It's called the 0 moment of truth. It is when someone decides to buy. And I equate this to on Instagram, Facebook, social media. The ZMOT has not happened. You are introducing the idea of a product prior to ZMOT. You are making them go to your website to then make that 0 moment of truth, to say, I'm going to buy or I'm not going to buy.
Yep.
Amazon, the ZMOT happens before someone gets to Amazon. And you ask yourself this. Every time I've gone to Amazon, I have had something to purchase immediately.
Yep.
Okay. I don't. Now, while I'm there, I might go shopping around for something. Very few times, maybe when I'm bored at night, will I go shopping around. But I'm always looking at, I want to buy something.
Yeah. I
go on Amazon. So the ZMOT, the 0 moment of truth, I'm going to buy something. I'm in market. That's where Amazon is your powerful friend. Now, let's go with this. In the sales process, this is old school, new school. Every time you have to make someone make a decision in the purchase, you give them an excuse to not purchase. We are human beings. The minute we decide to buy something, that same second, maybe a millisecond later, we get this thing called buyer's remorse.
Well, I would praise that a much easier way of, we call them sales hurdles or touch points.
Yep.
I would imagine anybody that's trying to order something online, would you be willing to jump over a hurdle to order that product? And the answer 99% of the time is hell no.
No, exactly.
Now think if you had to do 2 or 3 of those to order a product, then the answer is definitely no. Shipping is that hurdle.
Yeah. So here's why shipping becomes this thing, because everyone has this notion of disbelief again. And I'll give you an example so that boomers and Gen Xers can take a look at it and go, oh, yeah, okay, that's right. This is why it's easy. We already know that when I see something that's prime, it is more money than something that is not prime. Why is that?
Because shipping is
because shipping's built in.
Yep.
So get over the fact that if you want to sell a product for $24.99, you might need to up it to $29.99 and include free shipping to avoid someone making or jumping over the hurdle or having to make a decision twice. And again, I go by my old school sales training that I interrupted the process of completing the sale by introducing the shipping cost, which gives me an excuse or gives me like, fuck that, I'm not paying $6 for shipping. Or really, I equate it to maybe the Netflix. Now I'm going to go and try and get shipping for less or start searching around. And by the time I'm done, I'm like, fuck it, I'm not watching a movie at all because I spent an hour trying to like solve a $3 shipping problem. I'm out. Right.
Yeah.
So
if the shipping cost is like even remotely $5, adding on $5 to your ticket price and saying free shipping will drastically boost your sales than the other way around. You are just adding a moment for someone to say no. And in sales, you cannot have any of those moments.
No. And I'll even go back to someone that puts on their website, all items shipped for $5. You're in a little better position, but you're still charging $5. And if you want the results, and this is kind of where I started the segment, right?
Yep.
My generation wants results. That is the number one area where I think you and our consumers and everybody else, it's a no-brainer. If you want sales results, you got to include free shipping, up your price, do what you need to do.
I do not care if your product weighs 100 pounds and shipping is going to shoot you in the foot. You include that price in the sale price, or you eat it in your margin.
Yep.
Whatever works, do not put that shipping, especially if it's anything over $10. You will never see anybody convert.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, look, I think this was a great podcast. I have no idea how long we've been
it's very long. It's probably going to be a 2-parter.
Okay. I like 2-parters, and that saves us the trouble of shooting 2 different ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else you want to add, or you think we covered it?
I think we can always add more to this, but we did a pretty good walkthrough with a few tangents.
I agree. And look, these aren't tangents. These are things that we just need to.
They're good tangents.
They're good tangents, and look, it's from the best intent that we want to see all of our clients succeed. I think this is really a good, and I do think we're going to get a lot of clips out of this just to help some of our, I'd like to say that maybe I'm going to help some Gen Zers out there, millennials, learn what look at Gen X brings a lot to the table. We just don't care about you guys.
Everybody brings a lot to the table.
And I think, for me, it's like, look at, I bit the bullet. I've passed the torch, the baton, the sword, whatever it is. And I believe that, this is, nothing has changed. I keep saying that. Nothing's changed. Just the way it happens now has changed. And I'm willing to hand the mantle over to you guys because I know, in essence, every step I recognize as the part that nothing's changed, but it's just a different way to do it now.
Yep.
So, all right. With that note, look at, we probably didn't hit this early enough or say enough, but you got to share, follow us, all the above. We're putting a huge effort into these podcasts, not for our benefit. This is really for, the goal is, if you watched every one of our podcasts, I hope you guys can take your own products to market and give us a note and say, thank you, 52 Launch, for helping me learn how to get this to market. And anywhere along the way that you feel it's overwhelming, that you get stuck, that you're not sure what you're doing, hey, just reach out to us. Ask us questions. I could do an entire podcast around questions that people ask us. So
Yeah, that's for sure.
these are for your benefits, entrepreneurs, inventors, solopreneurs, all you lovely guys, gals, and ladies out there. We are at your resource and at your disposal to learn how to bring those amazing ideas you have in your head to fruition and help you make some money doing it. Because I do believe every one of you has $1 million idea in your head. You just need help executing on it.
I completely agree.
So with that, I enjoyed it. This is awesome.
Yep.
My drink is done. I'm going for a second.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
All right. Enjoy.
Bye.